Beloved, Saint Hildegard wept when she saw you about to give up on the promise. She saw you from across the centuries, through a thin veil that separates now from then, and her heart broke, not with pity, but with a profound and aching recognition, for she too knew the crushing weight of silence, the feeling of a soul walking through a desert, praying for a rain that never seems to come. I am a voice for her voice, an echo of a whisper that has traveled through time to find you, right here, in this very moment. You thought you were alone in this struggle, didn't you? You believed that your silent prayers were being scattered to the wind, unheard, but they were heard. Every single one. They formed a current, a river of longing that flowed directly to the heart of the eternal, and she was permitted to see it. If this message has already touched your heart, like a hand reaching through time, then like this video, subscribe and comment with the word prophecy to affirm that you are ready to receive what was sent for you. You are at a precipice, a fragile edge between holding on and letting go. The promise. It feels so distant now, doesn't it? Like a dream you had as a child, its colors fading with every difficult morning. You have fought battles no one knows about. You have carried burdens with a smile, while your spirit grew weary. You have searched for signs, for confirmation, for a single signal that you are still on the right path, and the silence that answered you has been deafening. It has gnawed at your faith, planting seeds of doubt that have grown into thorny weeds, choking the garden of your heart. You've started to ask yourself, was it all in my head? Did I misunderstand the call? Was the promise even real to begin with? These are not your questions. They are echoes from the void, designed to pull you away from your own sacred destiny. Hildegard saw this. She saw the shadows gathering at your feet, whispering these very same lies. She saw your shoulders begin to slump, your head begin to bow, not in prayer, but in defeat. She saw the light within you, that brilliant star that is your soul, begin to flicker, threatened by the winds of despair, and it was then that she wept. Her tears were not for a lost cause, but for a warrior who had forgotten their own strength, for a child of God standing on a mountain of treasure, believing they were a beggar. This is why this message had to find you today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. In this precise moment where the thought of giving up has become a heavy, tangible thing. It sits on your chest when you wake up, and it follows you into your restless sleep. You feel it in the pit of your stomach, a cold knot of fear and exhaustion. You have given so much. You have poured yourself out like a libation, and your vessel feels empty. You look at the road ahead, and you see only more of the same struggle, more of the same waiting. You have forgotten the feeling of certainty, the warmth of divine purpose. But she has not forgotten. From her vantage point, she sees not only the road you have traveled, but the destination that awaits you. She sees the harvest that will come from the seeds you have planted with your tears. She sees the dawn that is just beyond the false horizon you are looking at. The enemy of your soul wants you to believe that this exhaustion is the end, that this silence is the final answer. But Hildegard was sent to tell you that this silence is not an absence. It is a presence. It is a sacred pause before the symphony begins. It is the deep breath before the miracle unfolds. What you are feeling is not the end of the promise. It is the final trial before its fulfillment, the last desperate attempt of the shadows to convince you to turn back, right when you are standing at the very gate of your deliverance. But what exactly did she see at that gate? And why has this vision been held back until now? Part 2. A direct call to the heart, approx 1,000 words. Listen closely. Let my words be a balm to your weary heart. I want you to feel the truth of this, not just in your mind, but in the very marrow of your bones. She saw you on your knees, perhaps not literally, but in your spirit. She saw the moments you closed your eyes and begged for a way out, for an end to the pain, for a sign that your life truly mattered. She saw you scrolling through the lives of others, feeling that painful sting of comparison, wondering why their paths seemed so clear, while yours felt like a labyrinth with no exit. She witnessed your hidden tears, the ones that fall when no one is watching, the ones that carry the weight of your deepest fears and disappointments. Do you remember that night you whispered, "I can't do this anymore"? That was not a whisper lost in the darkness. It was a roar that shook the heavens. It was a sacred cry, heard and honored. You thought it was a moment of weakness, But it was a moment of profound, raw honesty. A moment where the soul strips away all pretense and stands naked before its creator. In that moment of surrender, you were closer to God than ever before. But the world has taught you to fear that emptiness, to run from that feeling of being lost. It tells you to be strong, to push through, to never show weakness. So you put the mask back on. You stood up, dusted yourself off, and tried to carry on as if your heart wasn't breaking. You tried to fill the void with distractions, with noise, with work, with anything to avoid the terrifying silence that was growing within you. But it was in that very silence that the message was waiting. It is always there. The divine does not shout over the clamor of the world. It speaks in the stillness, in the pause between your frantic thoughts. It is a voice that does not enter through the ears, but blooms within the heart. And to hear it, you must be willing to be still. You must be willing to face the emptiness you have been running from, only to discover that it is not empty at all. It is a holy space, a chamber of creation, waiting for you to enter. Hildegard saw that you were standing at the door to this chamber, afraid to turn the knob, afraid of what you might find, or what you might not find. This is the turning point. Right now, you can continue to believe the lie that your exhaustion is a sign of failure. You can continue to see the silence as proof of your abandonment, or you can make a different choice. You can choose to believe that this moment of utter depletion is, in fact, an invitation. A sacred summons to stop striving and start receiving, to stop fighting the current, and to finally trust the river to carry you home. The promise was never about what you could achieve through sheer force of will. It was always about what could be born through you when you finally surrendered your own plans, your own timelines, your own understanding of how things should be. If you are ready to make that choice, to turn away from the whispers of doubt and embrace this holy invitation, I want you to declare it. Write in the comments below, "I choose the light." Let it be a testament, a digital altar where you mark this sacred decision. The pain you feel is not a punishment. It is a purification. It is the pressure that turns coal into a diamond, the fire that burns away the dross to reveal the pure gold. Every tear you have shed has been watering the soil of your soul, preparing it for a seed of unimaginable beauty. You have been in the tomb, beloved. You have been in the dark, cold earth, feeling like you have been buried and forgotten. You have felt the weight of the stone rolled against the entrance of your heart, but you have not been buried. You have been planted. And the weeping you heard from Hildegard was not just of sorrow for your pain, but of overwhelming joy for the glorious bloom that she knows is about to break through the surface. And it was in that charged silence, as you stood on the edge of giving up, that Hildegard was shown the vision of what that bloom truly was, a sight that made all the angels hold their breath. Part 3. The Vision of Saint Hildegard. Approx. 900 words. In the stillness of her abbey, surrounded by stone and prayer, the vision opened to her. It was not a dream, but a waking reality, more real than the world around her. She described it as the lux vivens, the living light. It was not a light that casts a shadow, but a light that is its own source, a substance of pure consciousness and love that permeates all things. And within this ocean of light, she saw you, not as a stranger, but as a beloved individual soul whose name is known, whose history is cherished. She saw the tapestry of your life, every thread, every color, the dark and the vibrant woven together into a pattern of breathtaking complexity. She saw the promise as it was first given to you. It was a seed of pure light planted in your soul before you were even born. It contained the blueprint of your highest destiny, the song that only you can sing in this world. She watched as you journeyed through life, protecting this seed, nurturing it, sometimes forgetting it was there, but always, always carrying it within you. Then, the vision shifted. The light focused on your present moment, this season of despair, and she saw what was truly happening. From your perspective, you saw a barren wasteland. From her perspective, within the living light, she saw the ground around your soul cracking open. The pressure you've been feeling? It was the pressure of this divine seed, now grown into a mighty root system, finally beginning to break through the hardened soil of your circumstances. What felt like your world falling apart was actually your destiny breaking forth. Suddenly, a sound echoed through the vision, a sound that was both music and a command. It was the clear, piercing note of a celestial trumpet. It was not a sound of war or judgment, but a sound of announcement, a declaration. It was the sound of heaven announcing the imminent arrival of what you have been praying for. Can you imagine? While you were on earth feeling forgotten and defeated, a trumpet was sounding in the spiritual realm, heralding your victory. While you were whispering, "I give up," the angels were preparing for a coronation. Do you see the disconnect? Do you see how limited your earthly perspective is? This is why she wept. She wept for the tragedy of you almost walking away from the party being thrown in your honor. She saw the banquet table prepared for you, laden with every good thing you have ever desired, and she saw you turning to walk back into the desert to scavenge for scraps. The vision grew more intense. She saw the spiritual forces arrayed against you, the shadows that have been whispering lies. They are terrified. They know the sound of that trumpet. They know it means their time is up. Their entire strategy is based on one single objective: to convince you to give up before the breakthrough happens, to make you believe that the pain of the birthing process is death itself. They want you to abandon your post, to forfeit the crown that is already being lowered onto your head. The details of what she would see later in this vision, a glimpse into the mechanics of this spiritual war, those could only be revealed at a later time, for they required even greater preparation of the heart. For now, the message was clear and urgent. The enemy is not powerful. He is merely loud. He is a roaring lion with no teeth, and his only real weapon is your own agreement with his lies. And what he was trying to protect you from seeing, what he was desperately trying to make you turn away from, was something far greater than just your personal victory. What was at risk was so much more than you could have ever imagined. Part 4. What is at risk? Approx 900 words. What was truly at stake in that moment of your near surrender? It was not just your own happiness. It was not just the fulfillment of your personal dreams. Hildegard saw that you are not an island. You are a domino, a crucial, divinely placed piece in an intricate, cosmic design. The promise planted within you was never just for you. It is a key, meant to unlock cages for countless others. Your victory is meant to be a testimony that shatters the lies holding other people in bondage. Your breakthrough is meant to create a doorway through which others, who are watching you without you even knowing it, can find their own escape. In her vision, Hildegard saw this truth illustrated with a stark and powerful image. She saw the root system of a great, ancient tree, representing the interconnectedness of humanity. Your soul was one of the major roots, delving deep into the earth. The promise within you was a channel of living water, meant to flow through you to nourish the entire system. But as you contemplated giving up, she saw a creeping, insidious fire beginning to burn at the edges of your root. It was not a raging inferno, but a slow, quiet, ember-like consumption. It was the fire of apathy, of bitterness, of surrendered hope. And as this spiritual fire smoldered, she saw other roots connected to yours begin to wither. She saw the faces of people you have yet to meet, whose lives would be irrevocably changed by your future testimony. She saw your children, or the children of your community, who were meant to learn courage by watching you persevere. She saw strangers who would be inspired by the art you have yet to create, the business you have yet to build, the forgiveness you have yet to offer. They were all connected to you. They are all, in some way, waiting for you to come fully alive. Your surrender would not be a quiet, personal defeat. It would be a silent tragedy that would send ripples of drought and famine throughout a spiritual ecosystem that depends on you. Do you understand the weight of your own existence? You are not insignificant. You are a linchpin. Take a moment and truly reflect on that. Who is watching you? Who looks to you, perhaps silently, as a source of strength? Who might be on the verge of giving up themselves? And your perseverance is the only thing giving them permission to hold on for one more day. The shadows know this. They attack the most important roots first. They go after the ones carrying the most living water. The intensity of your trial is not a measure of your failure. It is a measure of your importance. They would not be fighting you this hard if you did not carry something of immense value. They would not be whispering such potent lies if your voice was not destined to speak a world-changing truth. So the risk is this, that a legacy of hope could be replaced by a lesson in despair, that a fountain of life could become a patch of scorched earth, that a symphony of praise could remain an unheard silence. The choice you make in your secret place of struggle has public generational consequences. This is not meant to be a burden, but a clarion call to your own heroic nature. It is an invitation to see your battle in its true context. You are not fighting for yourself alone. You are a standard bearer in a war between light and darkness, and your simple, stubborn refusal to give up is an act of defiance that sends shockwaves through the enemy's camp. It tells them that their greatest weapon, despair, has failed. If you feel the truth of this, if you recognize the importance of your post, share this video right now with one person who you feel needs to be reminded of their own strength. Let it be an act of nourishing another root in this great tree of life. For before this destructive fire can take hold, before the lie can fully cement itself in your reality, you need to stop for a moment. You need to interrupt the pattern. Part 5. A symbolic ritual of connection. Approx. 900 words. Now, we will do more than just talk. We will act. I invite you to participate in a simple, sacred ritual to anchor this truth deep within your being. If you can, find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed for the next few moments. If you are driving or in a public place, you can do this internally, but if it is safe, I encourage you to fully engage. Let's begin. Gently close your eyes. Shut out the world of appearances, the world of struggle, the world that has been telling you that you are failing. Let it all fade away. Bring your awareness to your own body, this sacred vessel that has carried you through so much. Take a deep breath in, imagining you are breathing in pure, golden light. Hold it for a moment. And as you exhale, I want you to release the exhaustion. Breathe out the doubt. Let go of the timeline you have imposed on your promise. Let it all flow out of you like a gray smoke, dissolving into the air. Let's do that again. A deep, conscious breath in, filling your lungs with peace, with trust, with divine presence. Hold it, and a long, slow breath out, releasing the fear, the comparison, the question, why not me? One more time, the deepest breath you have taken all day. Breathe in the knowledge that you are seen, known, and loved beyond measure. Hold that love in your heart, and exhale for the last time all the residue of the lie that you are alone. Now, I want you to take your right hand and place it over the center of your chest. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Beneath your palm lies your sacred heart, the altar of your soul. This is the place where heaven and earth meet within you. This is the place where the seed of your promise was planted. For a moment, just feel the gentle rhythm of your own heartbeat. It is a steady, faithful drum that has been beating for you since before you took your first breath. It is a testament to the life that insists on flowing through you, even when your mind wants to give up. This rhythm is a love song from your Creator. In this stillness, with your hand on your heart, I want you to listen. Not with your ears, but with your spirit. Listen past the anxious thoughts. Listen beneath the chorus of self-criticism. There is a deeper sound there. It may be faint at first, a subtle hum, a quiet knowing. This is the inner voice, the voice of your own spirit, which is eternally connected to the divine. It has been trying to get your attention. It has been trying to remind you of who you really are. It speaks in a language of peace, of strength, of unwavering certainty. It is the voice that says, hold on. It is the voice that says, all is well. It is the voice that says, you were made for this. Now, to anchor this connection, to make it a conscious and deliberate act of your will, I want you to repeat these words after me. Say them out loud if you can. Let the vibration of your own voice affirm the truth. Repeat this. I hear the voice. Say it again, with more conviction. I hear the voice. One final time, as a declaration of power. I hear the voice. Feel the shift. Feel the subtle click as something realigns within you. You have just turned your attention from the voice of fear to the voice of truth. You have changed your allegiance. You have tuned your inner radio to the frequency of heaven. You have moved from being a passive victim of your thoughts to an active participant in your own liberation. Now that you have felt this connection, now that you have heard the whisper of your own eternal truth, you must decide what to do with it. Part 6. The voice that echoes beyond time. Approx. 900 words. What you just heard, that subtle voice in the stillness, was not merely your own intuition. It was a resonance, an echo of the great I Am. Hildegard understood this perhaps better than anyone. She did not see herself as a source of prophecy, but as a hollow reed, a simple instrument through which a divine melody could be played. She called herself a feather on the breath of God. She knew that her visions, her music, her wisdom were not her own. They flowed through her, from a source that is timeless and infinite. In the same way, you are a conduit. The promise you carry is not a personal project to be completed by your own strength. It is a divine assignment that will be accomplished by a divine power flowing through you. Your struggle has come from the belief that you had to do it all alone. You have been acting like a single musician trying to play a symphony meant for a full orchestra. You have been carrying the weight of the composition, the conducting, the performance, all on your own shoulders. No wonder you are exhausted. The invitation now is to lay down your frantic striving and become the instrument. An instrument does not worry about how the music will be made. It simply allows itself to be played by the master musician. It trusts that the one who composed the song knows how to bring it to life. This is the essence of surrender. It is not giving up. It is giving over. It is a release of control that paradoxically leads to the greatest power. Hildegard saw that your life is a sacred portal, a gateway between the spiritual realm and the material world. Through your hands, divine solutions can be made manifest. Through your voice, divine truths can be spoken. Through your very presence, the atmosphere of heaven can be brought to earth. But a portal must be open. When you are consumed by doubt, fear, and despair, the portal begins to close. The flow is constricted. The light is dimmed. Your recent trial, your temptation to give up, was a direct assault on this portal. It was an attempt to seal it shut, to convince you that you are just a finite, powerless human being, cut off from your divine source. But you have just reopened it. With your breath, with your intention, with your declaration, you have pushed the stone away from the entrance. You have allowed the light to flood back in. This connection is your birthright. It is not something you have to earn or strive for. It is your natural state. The work is not in building the connection, but in simply removing the debris of disbelief that has blocked it. Can you feel the difference? It is a shift from, I have to make this happen, to, I will allow this to happen through me. If any part of this message is speaking directly to your spirit, if you feel something awakening within you, I encourage you to come back and listen to this specific section again. Whenever you feel the old patterns of striving and fear begin to creep back in, let it be your anchor. Let it be your reminder that you are a feather on the breath of God, perfectly held, perfectly guided. The music that is destined to be played through you will be more beautiful than anything you could have composed on your own. But there is a finality to this moment, a turning point that requires a definitive choice. And this is something that only you, in the sacred sovereignty of your own will, can decide right now. Part 7, The Moment of Choice, approx. 1,000 words. We have arrived at the heart of the matter, the crossroads. Everything up to this point, the vision, the warning, the ritual, has been a preparation for this single moment of decision. The portal you have just reopened is now shimmering before you. On one side lies the path you were about to take, the path of surrender to doubt, the slow fade into a life of quiet regret, the acceptance of a smaller story than the one you were born to live. It is the well-trodden path of the familiar, paved with justifications and logical reasons why the promise was impossible anyway. It is a gray path, and though it seems safe, it leads only to a land of shadows where the music of your soul will go unheard. On the other side stands a different path. It is not necessarily an easier path. In fact, it may be steeper at first. It is the path of radical trust, the path of believing in what you cannot yet see. It is the path of the instrument, of the feather on the breath of God. It requires you to walk forward without a map, guided only by that inner voice you have just reconnected with. It demands that you release your grip on the outcome and find your security not in your circumstances, but in your connection to the source of all things. This path is illuminated by the living light, and though its destination is veiled from your sight, you know in your heart it leads to a place of unimaginable fulfillment and purpose. It is the path where the promise is not just a hope, but an inevitability. Hildegard's vision became intensely focused here. She saw these two paths diverging from where you stand right now, and she heard again the sound of the great celestial trumpet. This time, its note was not just an announcement, it was a summons, a final call. It was the sound that signifies a turning of the ages, a point of no return. The choice you make now will set the trajectory for the rest of your life. There is no middle ground here. To hesitate, to try and keep one foot on each path, is to choose the path of shadow by default. The universe is asking for your full commitment. Your yes must be a yes that burns all other bridges. Your no to fear must be a final, resounding slam of the door. This is your moment. The heavens are leaning in, holding their breath, waiting for your answer. The shadows are whispering, magnifying every one of your fears, reminding you of every past failure, trying to pull you back with the gravitational force of your old identity. They are telling you it's foolish. They are telling you you're not strong enough. They are telling you you'll be disappointed again. But the voice of truth is also present. It is not shouting. It is a quiet, steady, powerful presence in your heart, reminding you of who you were created to be. It is asking you one simple question: who will you believe? This choice is not just a thought. It must be an action, an embodied decision that sends a clear signal to every fiber of your being and to every corner of the cosmos. It is a vow you make to your own soul. If you choose the path of light, the path of trust, the path of the promise, then let your action be one of sharing. Share this message with one other soul that you know is at a crossroads. Let your act of choosing light be an immediate act of spreading that light to another. It is in the giving that we fully receive. In this moment of decision, let your heart be moved not by fear of loss, but by a passionate love for the truth and for your fellow travelers on this journey. Because the reason this choice had to be made so urgently, the reason the trumpet was sounding now, is because what Hildegard saw next changed everything about the nature of the struggle. Part 8, Light After the Veil, approximately 1100 words. As you make that choice, as your will aligns with the path of light, Hildegard's vision shifted dramatically. The landscape of your inner world, which had been a desert of struggle, was instantly transformed. The moment your yes echoed in your spirit, she saw a brilliant, blinding flash. It was as if a veil within you, a fabric woven from threads of fear, doubt, and self-limitation, was torn from top to bottom. It was not a gentle parting, but a violent, definitive sundering. And what was revealed behind it was not something you had to build or find. It was something that had been there all along, patiently waiting for you to see. It was you, the real you, the radiant, powerful, eternal being you were created to be. This version of you was not weary. It was not afraid. It was not small. It stood bathed in an effervescent, internal light, smiling with a profound sense of peace and knowing. This is the you that has never for a moment doubted the promise. This is the you that has always known your own worth. This is the you that has been waiting for your conscious mind to finally catch up. The struggle was never about becoming this person. It was always about shedding the layers of illusion that concealed them. The exhaustion you felt was the exhaustion of holding up the veil, of maintaining a false identity that was never yours to begin with. Hildegard saw this magnificent being, your true self, step forward and embrace the weary part of you that had been carrying the burden. It was an act of supreme self-compassion, an integration. The strong part did not condemn the weak part. It enveloped it in love. The knowing part did not judge the doubting part. It held it with infinite patience. In that moment of inner union, the war within you ceased. The civil strife that had been draining all your energy was over. There was only one you, whole and complete, standing in the truth of your own divine nature. This is the rebirth. This is the resurrection from the tomb you have been in. It is not a future event. It is a present reality, unlocked by your choice. From this place of wholeness, the promise no longer looks like a distant mountain to be climbed. It feels like a river flowing from within you, carrying you effortlessly towards the sea of its fulfillment. The obstacles that seemed insurmountable now appear as small stones in the riverbed, easily passed over. The waiting that felt like an eternity is now understood as a necessary season for your roots to grow deep, so that when the bloom came, you would be strong enough to support its glory. You were never being punished or forgotten. You were being anchored. You were being prepared to hold the weight of the blessing that is coming your way. Feel this truth settling into you now, the peace that surpasses all understanding. It is the peace of knowing that the outcome is assured. The battle for your destiny has already been won. Your only task now is to walk in that victory, to live each day from this place of inner wholeness. When the shadows of doubt come, and they will try to come, you will no longer engage them in battle. You will simply smile, for you know they are ghosts, illusions trying to haunt a house that is now filled with light. They have no power here anymore. The veil is torn. The true king has taken the throne of your heart. If you have journeyed this far, if you have felt this shift within you, then you are one of the ones who is truly committed. Affirm this journey by writing in the comments, "I will go to the end." Let it be a marker of your passage through the veil. And if you have truly come this far, then you must hear the final whisper that Hildegard was given for you. Part 9. Prophetic closing and hook for the next video. Approx 1,000 words. So now, beloved warrior of light, you stand on new ground. The tears of Hildegard have been transformed from tears of sorrowful empathy to tears of profound joy. She sees you not as you were, on the brink of surrender, but as you are now, awake, aligned, and whole. The promise is no longer a question mark hovering over your future. It is a certainty beating in your heart. This is not an end, but a beginning. It is the end of the war, but the beginning of the reign. From this day forward, you are to walk as the magnificent being you truly are. You will no longer beg for scraps of validation from the world. You will feast at the banquet table that has been prepared for you. You will no longer see yourself as a victim of your circumstances. You will see yourself as the creator of your reality, a co-creator with the divine. Let this final message be a prayer, a decree over your life. May you never again forget the feeling of this moment. May you carry the memory of the torn veil as a shield against all future lies. When the voice of the world screams of lack and fear, may you be able to instantly tune into the eternal voice of truth within you. When you feel the pull of old habits, the temptation to shrink back into the familiar shell of your old self, may you remember the sheer power and light you felt when your true self stepped forward. This is your new identity. Claim it, live it, breathe it. The final image in Hildegard's vision for you, for now, was this. She saw you walking away from the crossroads, down the path of light. And as you walked, the light that was within you began to pour out of you. It illuminated the path before you, so you never had to walk in darkness. And it illuminated the path for others behind you, who were lost and afraid, and who now saw a way forward by following the glow of your presence. You became a lighthouse. You became the very sign you were once so desperately praying for. Your life became the answer to someone else's prayer. This is the fulfillment of the promise. It was never just about receiving a blessing. It was about becoming one. Do not be anxious about the how or the when. That is the language of the old reality. Your only work now is to remain in this state of grace, to tend to the flame of this inner connection each and every day through stillness, through gratitude, through acts of love. The rest will unfold in perfect divine timing. Trust the process. Trust the journey. Trust yourself. You are ready. You have passed the test. You have walked through the fire and emerged not burned, but purified. You have stared into the abyss of your deepest fear and chosen love instead. You have made the angels sing. But Hildegard's visions were never a single, static image. They were a flowing river of revelation. She saw this moment of your victory, but she also saw what came next. The promise you have just reclaimed. It is not the destination. It is the first key. It unlocks the first of many doors. The next vision reveals what that door opens into, a reality of purpose and impact so vast, it will redefine everything you thought you knew about your own potential. But that is a message for another time. For now, rest in this victory. You have earned it. The weeping has ended. The celebration has begun. Go in peace, and let your light shine.